In accordance with Protocol Myra, this message is here to reaffirm to you that SCP-2971-A did not exist. Jerry Lee Lewis did not leave his home on December 28, 2012, and the Vic Stanley Country Club does not exist. There will be messages throughout this article to dispute the existence of SCP-2971-A. Read these messages in their entirety, and consider their points until you believe them to be the truth. If you find yourself unable to accept that SCP-2971-A never occurred, close this file immediately, remove yourself from your workstation, and report to your supervisor for amnestic treatment.
Item Number SCP-2971 Object Class Euclid Special Containment Procedures Persons suspected to be carriers of SCP-2971 are to be monitored through their social media accounts, bank account statements, and whereabouts. Information spread by these persons regarding SCP-2971-A is to be censored and the subject in question detained. Internet search engines are to be monitored for search levels of the phrases, or variations of these phrases, think about it, rock and roll sacrifice, Cliff Bog, Vic Stanley Country Club, and December 28, 2012. If SCP-2971 related keywords are repeatedly searched from a single IP address, the location of the IP is to be tracked and agents are to take all persons at the location into custody for questioning and administration of Protocol Myra. Protocol Myra is to be enacted on subjects confirmed to be under the influence of SCP-2971. Protocol Myra consists of firm refutal that SCP-2971-A existed, followed by rationalizing to the subject why it didn't exist. This is proven to be enough to cure SCP-2971 in 100% of cases. Jerry Lee Lewis's home address and all properties owned by him are to be wiretapped, and Lewis himself is to be monitored for any SCP-2971 related phenomena. Personnel assigned to monitoring Lewis are to log any notable findings and notify their immediate superiors of them should they occur. Description: SCP-2971 is a memetic localized reality restructuring event that causes the subject to believe they attended a live Jerry Lee Lewis concert held at the Vic Stanley Country Club in Faraday, Louisiana on December 28, 2012, dubbed SCP-2971-A. SCP-2971-A never actually occurred and no business named Vic Stanley Country Club exists. SCP-2971 is passed to an uninfected subject through reading or discussing the topic of SCP-2971-A or its contents with an uninfected person. SCP-2971 can also be transmitted via text regarding SCP-2971-A, hence the requirement for Protocol Myra. The topic of SCP-2971 without mention of SCP-2971-A as an event is not sufficient to spread infection.
SCP-2971-A never occurred. Jerry Lee Lewis was at home resting on December 28, 2012. He did not perform that day.
Infection of a subject by SCP-2971 has two primary effects. Effect A. The subject will suddenly gain a thorough recollection of SCP-2971-A's set list, comments made by Jerry Lee Lewis during SCP-2971-A, and other details such as their journey to the Vic Stanley Country Club. Subjects affected by SCP-2971 will excitedly attempt to tell others about the event, thereby spreading SCP-2971, and show an abnormally increased interest in Lewis's songs and history, bordering on obsession. Upon curing a subject of SCP-2971, all of these memories will disappear and any anomalous interest in Lewis will cease. Effect B. SCP-2971 implements a localized reality restructuring event. Persons afflicted by it will have historically attended SCP-2971-A despite the event having not occurred at all for non-infected persons. In their possession are often memorabilia from SCP-2971-A. Some examples include autographs, non-anomalous CD-ROMs, T-shirts, and amateur recordings of the event. Upon curing a subject of SCP-2971, all of the subject's items acquired this way will disappear. One notable symptom of SCP-2971 infection is an abnormally frequent use of the phrase, think about it. The phrase itself is non-anomalous and contributes to the spread of SCP-2971 no more than conversation about SCP-2971-A usually does. In 100% of cases to date, however, frequent use of the phrase has accompanied SCP-2971 infection. SCP-2971 has no known source. On December 29, 2012, it is believed to have spontaneously spread to an apparently random selection of 2,446 citizens of the state of Louisiana, with the exception of the largest cluster of subjects within Faraday city limits.
SCP-2971-A did not happen. You were at work on December 28, 2012, so you would not have had the time to attend a concert.
When Foundation agents had discovered SCP-2971, a telephone call to the Lewis household was made in order to ascertain his status. The Foundation was unable to speak to Lewis himself, spoke to an assistant who said Lewis was fine except for a bout of headaches in the days following December 28, 2012. Interview log SCP-2971 INT-1. Interviewed. One of the first discovered subjects affected by SCP-2971. Interviewer, Dr. Forward. Has shown an abnormal interest in this concert she says she attended, as the initial report suggested she might, and claims to remember it in great detail. She has proven willing to cooperate, however, she has been difficult to talk to due to her continually steering the conversation towards something related to Jerry Lee Lewis. Begin log. Good evening, Miss. Hello. What can you tell me about December 28, 2012? Oh boy, what can I tell you? It was great. I took my kids to see Jerry Lee Lewis live that day. We stayed there for hours. After the show, we got autographs and bought a few CDs. They loved it. In fact, Miss, do you recall anything out of place about the event? Anything at all? No, nothing crazy. It was a perfectly normal event. So there was nothing odd that occurred? No, like I told you, it was a perfectly normal Jerry Lee Lewis concert. Think about it. I don't know what you want me to say. The only thing that was new was when Jerry did a song called Rock and Roll Sacrifice. That really got the crowd roaring. Everyone stood up when he did it. It was great.
SCP-2971 did not happen. Searches through the Lewis discography have shown no song named Rock and Roll Sacrifice exists. No associate of Lewis named Cliff Gott is known to exist.
Well, there's nothing else, I think we're done here. Wait, did I tell you what Jerry Lee did on Great Balls of Fire? I have to tell you. What did he do? He lit his piano on fire in the middle of the song. No way, that's crazy. He actually did. It was quite amazing to see. My kids just lost it when they saw that. Think about it. Come to think of it, I think I might have actually been to that show. It was at the old Vic Stanley Country Club, right? Dr. contracted SCP-2971 and was administered Protocol Myra along with Miss extraneous data removed. End log. Closing statement. It was determined soon after that interviews with affected subjects should be kept to a hard limit of 1 minute, followed by administration of Protocol Myra to the interviewer to avoid any further incidents. Both Dr. and Miss have been cleared. Document SCP-2971-A1. This is a transcript of an audience recording of SCP-2971-A provided by a subject. Recording starts. 1 minute. Audio fades in with clapping audible. It is implied that the first song has already been completed. 8 minutes. The song Georgia on My Mind is played. 14 minutes. Lewis immediately starts Sweet Little 16 after Georgia on My Mind. Audio crackles badly at times and only fully recovers at the end of the song. 17 minutes. After Sweet Little 16 closes, Lewis says, "Welcome to our show. If it gets too crazy, you'll probably want to leave the building because I get like that sometimes. Think about it." 18 minutes. Rock and Roll Over starts. 20 minutes. I Wish I Were 18 Again starts. There is a large break in the audio. It fades out completely until the 42-minute mark. 42 minutes. Applause is heard after the close of one of the previous songs. Lewis says, "Think about it again." At least one audience member near the recording device is heard to repeat the phrase. 42 minutes. I'll Find It Where I Can is played. 46 minutes. Lewis says, "Alright folks, I brought a new song with me today that you've never heard me do before. Cliff Bogg wrote this one for me about 2 hours ago. One entitled, Rock and Roll Sacrifice. Let's get it, boys. Do it right. They're in the room with us."
SCP-2971 did not happen. Searches through the Lewis discography have shown no song named Rock and Roll Sacrifice exists. No associate of Lewis named Cliff Gott is known to exist.
47 minutes. Rock and Roll Sacrifice plays. The song's by far the longest on the recording, lasting 9 minutes 42 seconds. It is an instrumental until the 5-minute 11-second mark where Lewis begins to sing the lyrics. For the full lyrics, see file SCP-2971-A2. 57 minutes. Lewis asks for the crowd to be still for just a moment. Keeney's fingers are numb. This likely refers to Kenneth Lovelace, his guitar player. The audio is playing, but only white noise is audible from the source. 59 minutes. A loud pop is heard in the recording. The audience gasps. 1 hour. Lewis. "See, that's why you don't lose track of what you're doing. That's when they get you." The audience laughs. 1 hour, 1 minute. Great Balls of Fire starts. Noticeable is a distinct lack of guitar. 1 hour, 3 minutes. The audience gasps and applauds wildly during the song. Lewis shouts, "Burnin' love, baby!" It is likely this is the section where he lit his piano on fire, as mentioned by Miss 1 hour 5 minutes. Immediately after the song finishes, Lewis says, "Thank you for coming out tonight. I had fun. I hope you had fun. Did you have fun?" The audience applauds. Yeah, think about it. The entire audience repeats, "Think about it," back, in perfect unison. 1 hour 6 minutes. Whole lot of shaking going on begins playing. During the song, certain instruments suddenly cease playing and are no longer heard. 1 hour 7 minutes. The bass guitar stops. 1 hour 8 minutes. The rhythm guitar stops. 1 hour 10 minutes. Lewis says mid-song, "I was going to introduce you to my band, but then it would come out again." 1 hour 11 minutes. Drums stop. 1 hour 12 minutes. Piano stops. Lewis is heard mumbling unintelligently into the microphone. 1 hour 13 minutes. All noise from the audience ceases. 1 hour 14 minutes. Piano begins playing again, badly out of tune and at about half speed. 1 hour 15 minutes. Audio fades out. Recording ends.
SCP-2971 did not happen. The events you have read are fictional and are not real.
Document SCP-2971A2. Lyrics to Rock and Roll Sacrifice. Instrumental intro. They never told you what you're doing in this choking land. They never gave a reason nor a way to wander through the damned. Tomorrow's death is what you get for a life so we can grim. Today your light shines bright, though it's quickly growing dim. They're coming for you now, child. Can't you see them over there? A growing mass of flesh and grief, and they're loaded for bear. They're coming for you now, child, with spears clenched in hand. I want a rock and roll sacrifice, came forth the command. Instrumental bridge. Though you may think peace is won and your swords be drawn no more, put your ear to the dust, hear the whisper of war. Never mind those empty halls, your nightmares locked away. There's a prophecy of pending doom in the words I say. They're coming for you now, child, their souls filled with rage. A voice decreed it will be done, it's trembled from the cage. They're coming for you now, child, sooner than you know, for a rock and roll sacrifice is the way you must go. Instrumental bridge. Spoken by Lewis. Let me tell you, folks, I've seen many things in this wretched world, things that would make the devil himself cry out in fear and renounce hell as too tame. But let me tell you, these things are not for human minds. I was given a burden that I am sharing with you all here tonight, and in time you will understand what the words of this song truly mean, because you will be singing it too. That's the way it goes. Think about it, just once, that's all it takes. They're coming for you now, child, with hunger in their hearts, a bloody end to your filthy life before it really starts. They're coming for you now, child, to put terror in your veins, a punishment much worse than death. You'll plead for a life in chains.